Good morning and a very blessed and happy New Year to all of you. Since it is the beginning of a new calendar year, I thought I would just review, and it certainly won't be new to any of us, but just review briefly our dear Lord's teaching on the Great Commandment. And of course, we know that this teaching was his answer to a question put to him, not terribly sincerely, by the scribes and Pharisees. The question they asked is, what is the greatest commandment? What they wanted Jesus to do was pick one of the 10 commandments which God gave to Moses and say, well, this is the greatest. And then they would have something to accuse Jesus of. In other words, all 10 are equal in worth because they all come from God. Well, Jesus, who is God, didn't fall for their trick. But he does answer the question in the only way that it can be answered, because, again, he's God. He said, "You shall love the Lord your God with your whole heart, soul, mind, and strength." And he said the second is like the first, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. But he didn't stop there. He said, this sums up all of the law and the prophets. You know, and when we think of the Great Commandment as Jesus taught us, he really is speaking about those 10 commandments. The first 3 commandments of God all deal with us loving God unconditionally and wholeheartedly, without exception. And then from the 4th commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, all the way down to the 10th commandment, this is God telling us we are to love our neighbor, every other person, as we love ourselves. But Jesus also, in teaching us this, enlightens us to understand that from day to day, as I strive to live the Great Commandment, I cannot somehow love God but not love my neighbor. Or I don't care about God or don't love God, but I can love my neighbor. One is inseparable from the other. And so as we go about our daily lives, interacting with however many people we may meet or live with or whatever, as we love them is a very good and accurate measure of how much I love God. And so the Great Commandment, while it's easy enough for us to know what Jesus is teaching, as we live from day to day, certainly being faithful to our daily prayer and our works of mercy and charity toward other people, we are not only supposed to understand what Jesus teaches us about the Great Commandment, but we are to make what we understand the very way that you and I think and speak and act all the time. And so as we begin a new calendar year, let us all meditate on and strive to understand and live better the Great Commandment of love of God with our whole heart and soul, mind and strength, and love of our neighbor as we love ourselves.